Hey everybody! So, I figured today's just going to be a day when I keep the videos rolling. I wanted to show you this project, which is a project I didn't show in my last video, because I want to kind of show you guys how I did it. It's a blanket, and it says Irwin on it. It's backwards to you guys, which is frustrating. Let me see if I can... It says Irwin on it. That says 94. Whatever. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of the people that would watch me are aware that I'm a massive 5 Seconds of Summer fan. In fact, I have the 5 sauce big oversized obnoxious poster. I think you guys can probably see that. I don't know. I can't be in the frame while the poster's in the frame. Otherwise I'd have to get up. That's just gonna make a lot of noise. I'll roll it up later. Just adding to the mess. But I am a really big 5 sauce and 1D fan, and so why not make a blanket to show it? And I made my friend a blanket that I stitched the letters to Irwin onto, because she's a big Ashton Irwin fan as well. But I made myself one. Made myself a blanket. It's completely different than my friend's. And it's comfy and cozy because everything crocheted is amazing. And I think that if I started a crochet business, I'd be a millionaire within an hour because freaking amazingness. So, when you look at mine, you notice that I ended up using 3 different colors. I'm a dork. So, you can tell that I used white in some spots, and I used black above the word Irwin for some weird reason. And I used white all the way down to the bottom, the bottom of the striping, the actual striping. Goes purple to white, and then it goes into black when I start doing the rounds. I start doing those rounds, which is my version of a border. My borders go on forever because I'm amazing like that. But the truth is, I just ran out of white. Whenever I run out of a color, if I'm making something for me, instead of going out and buying the color, I just switch it. So I had white, and I switched to black because I ran out of the white. So that's really the only reason why I used the black in this blanket at all. But I like black with purple, so what most people would have called the end of their project and would have called their border is where this white and black hit. Like the white, black, and I don't know if that's even on the screen. There we go. The white, black, and purple hit, although it kind of looks blue on the screen, but trust me, this is purple. My hair's blue. This is actually purple. It's a dark purple, a black, and a white. And actually, you can tell the difference between the purple and the black way better on the screen than I can here in person. I'm struggling to see where the different spots are, but I think it's really nice. But I didn't really have much of a plan with it. I'm starting my triple crochet round. I didn't have much of a plan with it. I just figured I'd start working, and wherever it ended up, it ended up. But what I kind of want to show you guys is how I did the name spot, which on this one is really bumpy because it was my first time doing it. I made this nameplate probably a good 3 months ago. 3 or 4 months ago. I was new about doing word things separate like this. And mine still come out kind of bumpy. I mean, I've made a few since then, but they still come out kind of bumpy if I crochet them into the project. I mean, more than just like a slip stitch into it. If I truly crochet it into the project, they almost always come out bumpy and weird. And that's probably why most people don't do it that way, but I'm me. And this is how I do things. because for some weird reason, I like to stress myself out. But all I do is, I know I have yarn here somewhere. Okay. All I do is I take my yarn, I take my crochet hook, and angle this down. I'm going to make an L because I think it's the easiest thing for me to teach. So you just, like, you slip knot it under the hook. So you take it like so, and you just slip knot it and put it on the hook. I'll do one where I show a slip knot a lot easier and a lot slower later. And then you just chain as many as you want. So I'm going to go with, I don't know, 6 or something. No, let's go to 10. Okay, so that's about 10. That's about a chain of 10. And then it'll go, probably another 5. So 1, 2, 4, 5 for the actual L shape. So 10 for the length, and then 5 for the L shape. And then in the second one from the hook, you'd put your hook back in, and all the way across you'd do a double. So you just double crochet it. And I'm going to show, I don't know if I showed each of the different crochets, but if I don't have a video where I show them, I will show them. And then you do it back, but then you minus, you'd minus the stitch right where you'd want your turn to be. So right where the L would hit the next part, you'd minus a stitch. So you'd skip the corner spot. Hold up. I'm going to get there and then I'll be right back. Okay, so like that. When I got to the end of the first round, I just chained 3 and went back like in any other back and forth pattern. But then you say I wanted it to start turning here. I would just go into the hole, and then I'd go into the next hole immediately and pull it up. And then you double crochet that. And you do that every round. So those are the ones I don't do very often, but it does take a shape. And the thing is, you could put it in its shape as well. Like, you could just make the stick and then put it in its shape. Most people don't actually notice a difference between when you crocheted it into shape and when it just is just moved into it. I just prefer to crochet it into its shape. That way it's easier for me to work with, because then I have to either sew it or crochet around it. I'm currently just talking because I'm trying to get this L into a better shape so you can tell that it's an L. Because it only slightly turns the first time. The issue with letters like L and stuff, if you do a double crochet, which is what I normally do for these things, is there's a better chance, hold on, there's a better chance that you'll miss something, because you'll just go to do the normal stitch things, but there's a better chance that you won't turn it properly. Your project won't be properly turned. It won't properly turn into an L if you get too many rows. So with something like this, you might want to skip a few holes. You might want to do your holes a little different, but this is how I do mine. It's just comfortable for me to do it this way, and I'd rather my letter be fat than have it be skinny and not look like my letter. But I'd also prefer that I could work with it without struggles. I tend to struggle a lot more when I have to bend a line into the shape that I want it to be. So, I mean, it's not really a perfect L yet, but I could either go down it one more time with double crochets to perfectly make it an L, or I could just, crochet around it kind of thing to show more that it's an L, to kind of shape it better into one. Or I could sew it onto my project as an L. That's the way I'm going about it, but looks more like, to me, it's just the end doesn't want to stand up straight, but it's kind of L-shaped. And it's just simple stuff like that I do. I showed you an L because I think the other letters I think all the letters I used were pretty complex. They were hard for me to get. I don't know. I guess saying that they're complex is probably a bad thing to do, but with the I just did chaining and went up and turned when I was supposed to turn and did more chains, and that works too. If you'd rather work on a chain than do one chain and then try to make an entire letter off it by making random moves, it's fine. However it seems more comfortable to you, but all I did was make my letters separate, and then I'm not actually gonna use my L forever. So then the way I did this, which is why it's so bumped right there, and it's kind of frustrating, but the reason why this is so bumped and everything, there's like the R is bumped in Irwin, the center of the R bumps out. It's actually because all I did was I went in to like these spaces, because when you put the letters next to each other, you're gonna have like, if you have more than one letter, you're gonna have like the L, and well, a good example would be with the word love. You'll have like the L, and then you'll want a tiny bit of space, and then have an O. And so what I did was I crocheted to make this a square. Make this square. And I did that with each of my letters to make them full and square. And some letters don't do that very well. The R is a great example of a letter that does not want to do that. The W did it almost okay. The I almost did okay. The N was decent. I think the N was probably my best. Yeah, the N was the best one out of them. But numbers like 9 and 4 don't want to do it. It's trying to make it into a square. So like the L might be an easy thing to turn into a square because you just have to go up here. Or you could go up, you could go this way on it. And then you could do like 2 rows off the edge of it. Kind of thing. But the O might be more complicated if you manage to make it an actual circle instead of making it an oval or a square. Because once you get the roundness in it, then you have to try to take the round out of it. The thing that made it round, you have to try to take that out in order to make it a square. And that's where my problems with the R came in. And I also had that problem with the 9. So this is pretty much all I did, though. I just made my letters separate, and then I crocheted mine into this, and I did the same thing. And if you take like the tapestry needle, which I don't know where mine is, I lost mine. You could just like whip stitch it in or whatever, or you could take your crochet hook and take like the extra yarn and just sew it in this way. Sorry, I'm a little sick, if you guys haven't noticed. But you can just do like the normal, just sew it in this way. Like slip stitch it in. But that's what I did. That's all I did. This little, to make that one. So that's what I wanted to tell you guys. Bye!